All right. We're finishing up ellipses today. Today we're going to do the ellipse puzzles.
So we will need graph paper or not?
I already answered that. You may want it. Go next door and tell them they can't have my math book for their assignment. The seniors. Sorry, they didn't know. Okay, for this one, what we're going to do, just like with the circle, we're going to factor. So we did this with the circles. We're going to factor out the 5. And we're going to complete the square, just like we did with circles. So we're going to half 4 and square it. Half 4 and square it. Here. Okay, and then we will factor this. Were they in the computer lab? We'll factor this. Now, I did forget something. I added 4 right here, which means I have to plus 16 right here. And I added 4 right here, and I have a 5, so that's plus 20. So I need to add those to that. So 36 plus 3 is 39.
I just told them that they can't have it, and if you go and get graph paper. I'm sure. He took something out. I think your test, isn't it? Cameron, what's the question? Very fun.
Okay. Any questions on what I did right there? Now, what do I have to have on the right-hand side?
A 1.
A 1. So what must I do then? Divide by 39 everything. Now, I'm going to show you this little step right here. I am going to divide those, but another way to write that would be 1/4 times 1/4. So I would get x plus 2 squared, 39 over 4, plus y minus 2 squared, 39 over 5. Because I actually am dividing those. But I'm not putting the answer up here, I'm putting it down here because I need A and B. So, well, what is the question I'm being asked? Well, I'm getting it in work form. And maybe I'm asked, well, what is the foci? Where are the foci? And in order to get the foci, I'm going to need to know what A and B are. So C equals square root, A squared minus B squared. It's hard to tell with this particular example, but this would be A because that's actually bigger. So 39 over 4 squared plus 39 over 5 squared. And C is square root of what? I get a decimal. 155.9025, and then we would square root that. So C, I'm going to do that to the nearest 10th, 12.5. Okay? This is not where the foci are. The foci open along, so this opens left and right because my A is larger. So my center is -2, then plus or minus 12.5, and then 2. And these are my foci.
So it's not like that's a coordinate, those are the two answers? Or
Well, they are coordinates. They are points. They are actual coordinates. I add it one time, so I have -2 minus 12.5, so negative
Oh, yeah, the
14.5,
plus
comma 2. And then the other one would be -2 plus 12.5, which is going to be 10.5, comma 2. So I do have 2 points. You know, I'm just, writing that out. All right, let's get to puzzles.
So that was a bit.
Yep, that was a warm-up for the puzzles. I have an ellipse with height 29 and width 53. Find the equation in work form. When in doubt, graph it out. Okay, and we'll put it at the center of our graph. When in doubt, graph it out. Well, I'm not going to graph it out, but I will sketch some properties here. So here's our ellipse, and I know it opens left and right. And the reason I know it opens left and right is because the width is longer than the height, right? So nothing in my life ever works. 53, and my height is 29, so I know it opens up and down. So here's my center, so I know my semi along x is 53 divided by 2. So 26.5. And I know my semi along y is 29 divided by 2. Okay, so now I have my a and b. So x squared over, see this is along x, so I don't even really need to think of it as a and b. I just need to think of it as what's along x and what's along y. So I get x squared over 702.25 plus y squared over 210.25.
Wait, where'd you get those numbers?
I squared these. All right, let's do another one. Another puzzle. Same question, I'm going to want the equation, ultimately. Let's say c squared equals 68, and I give you a vertex is 0, -18. And again, the center will be 0, 0. Well, if the center is 0, 0, and I have a vertex -18, 0, negative 18. Does this open left and right or up and down? Up and down. Because I have 0, 0. And one of my vertices is down here. 0, negative 18. Which means, how long is this? 18. Look what I'm pointing to. 18. That length would be 18. 36 would be the whole axis, but I don't need that to write the equation. We have been asked that question, but we don't need it for the whole thing. So this would be 18. But in order to write my equation, not only do I need a center and an A major axis, I need my minor axis as well. And luckily I have a formula to get it. C equals square root A squared minus B squared. Now look what they give me. They give me C squared is 68. So that means if I were to square all of this, C squared would equal A squared minus B squared. So C squared is 68. Now A squared, the question is what's that? What's A? Well, if my vertex is 18, it has a length of 18, so that's 18 squared. So 324. Minus B squared. And now I'm going to solve that. So 68 minus 224. And I get negative 156 equals negative B squared. I'll multiply by a negative. Then I'll square root the 156. And I get 2 for B, I get, well, B squared is 156. So actually I don't need to square root it and get B, though I could. B is 2 root 39. But really, look what I want in my formula anyway.
Where's the 224?
Sorry?
224.
Isn't that 18 squared?
No. 18 squared is
324?
324.
Okay, so that changes everything. So 68 minus 324. So negative 256, which changes this to 256. Okay? Now, I was about to make a mistake anyway. So, good catch on that, and good catch because it also makes me stop making a mistake. Pay attention, look up. Look up, don't miss this. I am using A squared to mean whatever's under X. Now I am using B squared to mean whatever is under Y. This formula right here means A squared to be major axis, B squared to be minor axis. So you need to note that difference. My major axis is along Y, which means 18 squared, the 324 is going under Y. Do you understand what I'm saying there? Okay? I might even want to write that right away as soon as I recognize it so that I do not make that error. That means A squared is this 256. Okay, and H and K are 0, so I do not need them. Okay, we are going to do one more for our notes, and then of these, and then we'll do one more completing the square one.
So we're not finding the first side?
Nope, we've spent sufficient time on that. We are just trying to solve these puzzles. Get the equation is what we're doing. Okay. Alright, so our next example, I'm going to tell you a focus is 2, 0. My center is 0, 0. And let's say I have an x-intercept of 4, 0. Now, I don't have to graph it out too much, but I might want to, when you're in doubt, you don't know what to do, start a sketch. So I have a focus at 2, 0. So here's a focus. And I have an x-intercept at 4, 0. I know my center is right here. You with me on those? Now, the foci are always on the major axis. The foci are always on the major axis. So that means this opens which way? Opens left, right. Okay? So, that would mean I have another foci over here and another x-intercept over here. So, we know our center is 0, 0, so I have x squared plus y squared. I need to know what goes under them, so I'm going to leave that blank. I'm not going to put a squared or b squared, I just know that I need them. Alright, so along x, see, this length is along x, that length is 4. 4 squared, 16. So I need this, the thing under y. So, c equals square root a squared minus b squared. Again, I'm just using a right here, major axis, minor axis. C. The question is, do I know c? Well, yeah. C would be this length right here, and it's 2. Major is 16. I need a new computer, definitely. Alright, I'm going to square both sides. Subtract the 16. Multiply by a negative. Square root it. And that's b. Oh, and actually I need b squared. So 12 goes under that. Okay. We are going to go on. Okay, so we are going to figure out the equation of, all of these are figure out the equation of the ellipse. Okay, I collect my x's, collect my y's, and then what must be in front of x squared? A 1. So what do I factor out of this? A 3. The y's are fine. Now what do I do to complete the square?
B divided by 2 squared.
So half of 2 is 1, square it is 1. Okay? This one. Half of negative 6 is negative 3. Square it, and I get
9.
Now, I can't just do that. I added stuff on the left, so what do I have to do on the right? So, I added a 1 here. What should I add over here? 3, because 3 times the 1. And then I added a 9 over here, so a 9 on the right. So I get 3. Now I'm going to factor that, x plus 1 squared. I'm going to factor that, y minus 3 squared equals 9. Now I'm going to divide both sides by what? I'm going to go ahead and divide those, and no matter how ugly it gets, that's the way it is. And now I'm done. This opens which way? Up and down. What's the center?